Chapter 2. The Buddha then said to eliminate obstructions Bodhisattva, "After that Sikhin Buddha, there was another Buddha appeared in the world, whose name is Visvabhu, thus come one worthy of offerings, one of proper and pervasive knowledge, one perfect in clarity and practice, well gone one, knower of the secular world, unsurpassed one, taming and subduing hero, teacher of gods and humans, Buddha, world-honored one. Eliminate obstructions. At that time, I was a forbearing supernatural person, dwelling in a remote mountain, which was rocky, high, and steep, so no one could reach or stay in there for long. At that time, I had also heard about the mighty sacrosanct power, merits, and virtues of the Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. Avalokitesvara had entered into a gold earth and manifested his body for the sentient beings whose faces were covered. He spoke wonderful dharmas and revealed the noble eightfold path and made all of them achieve the stage of nirvana. After going out from the gold earth, he then entered into a silver earth, in which every sentient being has 4 legs and was standing still. Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva saved those sentient beings by speaking Dharma for them. He said, "You should listen attentively to this correct Dharma and should arouse your mind to ponder carefully. I am now showing you the fund and provisions for nirvana." Those sentient beings stood in front of Avalokitesvara and said to the Bodhisattva, "For the sentient beings who have no eye, you save them by bringing light to them and make them see the way. For those who have no dependence, you parent them to make them have dependence. For those in dark paths, you light up the bright torch for them and show them the correct way to liberation. If a sentient being remembers the Bodhisattva's name, he will gain peace and happiness. So please save us, because we are constantly suffering from such afflictions." Then all those sentient beings heard the Mahayana Sublime Treasure King Sutra, and after hearing the sutra, all of them became peaceful and comfortable and attained the stage of non-backsliding. At that time, after going out from that place, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva then entered into an iron earth, within which a great powerful Asura king was confined. When visiting there, the Bodhisattva was appearing in a Buddha body. At that time, the great powerful Asura king went from a far distance to receive Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva. In the palace of the Asura king, there were innumerable followers, most of whom were hunchback, short, and ugly. Those followers also went together. They presented themselves before Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva, bowed to the feet of him, and then the king said a verse. "I have attained the fruit in this lifetime, for my wish has been fulfilled, just as what I was longing for. This is because of my correct view. Now that we have met the Bodhisattva, I and my followers will gain the peace and happiness." Thereupon, the king gave his precious throne to Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, joined his palms respectfully, and said, "From the past, we and the followers enjoyed sexual misconducts, constantly have anger, and love to kill living beings. Having committed these, my heart is anxious and worrying. We are afraid of aging, death, and transmigration, and fear that we will suffer from various afflictions and have no dependence. Please do show mercy, save us, and tell us the way of unlocking this confinement." Avalokitesvara said, "Virtuous man, the Tathagata, Arhat, Samyak Sambuddhas always practice mendicancy, begging for food. If you can give food to them, then the blessings and virtues that you gain will be too many to be spoken. Virtuous man, not only I myself in this Asura cave cannot finish speaking it, even the Tathagata, Arhat, Samyak Sambuddhas, as many as 12-fold Ganges river sands, get together in one place. They also cannot finish speaking the number of such blessings and virtues. Virtuous man, I can count the number of all atoms, but, virtuous man, I cannot finish speaking of the number of the blessings and virtues gained by giving foods to the Tathagatas. Virtuous man, for another example, I can count all the water drops of a great ocean one by one. But, virtuous man, I cannot finish speaking the number of the blessings and virtues gained by giving foods to the Tathagata. Virtuous man, for another example, suppose all men, women, boys, and girls plant everywhere in the 4 great continents. All they plant are nothing but mustard seeds. The dragons make rains seasonably, and then the mustard seeds are mature. They then use one whole continent as the field, do all the working procedures, and then make a great accumulation. Virtuous man, I can count every grain in such an accumulation, one by one. But, virtuous man, I cannot finish speaking the number of the blessings and virtues gained by giving foods to the Tathagatas. Virtuous man, for another example, suppose there is a Sumeru mountain king. Its underwater part is 84,000 yojana in depth, and its overwater part is 84,000 yojana in height. Virtuous man, then use such a mountain king to make papers, and use all the water of the great oceans as ink. In this way, all men, women, boys, and girls in the 4 great continents write together to make their books as height as the Sumeru mountain, and use up all the papers. Then I can, one by one, count the number of words that they write. But, virtuous man, I cannot finish speaking the number of the blessings and virtues gained by giving foods to the Tathagatas. Virtuous man, suppose all those persons who write have achieved the 10th Bhumi stage of bodhisattvahood, then the sum of the blessings and virtues of all those bodhisattvas is equal to the quantity of the blessings and virtues gained by giving food to a Tathagata just once. Virtuous man, for another example, for the great oceans as many as Ganges river sands, I can count all their sands one by one. But, virtuous man, I cannot finish speaking the number of the blessings and virtues gained by giving foods to the Tathagatas. Having heard those words, the great powerful Asura king wept sorrowfully, with tear flowing on his face. Being remorseful and choking with sobs, he sighed and said to Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva, I had practiced giving in the past, but the circumstance that I practiced giving was defiled, black, and was not according to the correct Dharma. Due to those giving practices, now contrariwise, I and my followers are confined in this evil destiny, and are suffering from these karmic retributions. We did not know that only a little food given to a Tathagata would become refreshingly cool dews.